Hey, what's up everyone? This is going to be an update video regarding that plane crash that occurred in Savannah, Georgia. First, I'm having to make the video right now with my phone while I've got some time left to do that because I don't have much time left to use my phone because this battery is, you know the situation, and also for some reason I have to open the Hulu app or a video or something in order for my phone to go, to turn this way. It's weird. I don't know what that's all about. I have to open an app to play a show or movie first, or some video, and then go back to the internet. I mean, the web browser, the Chrome browser, in order to be sideways. It doesn't make sense. It won't go horizontal. My phone will not go horizontal, so... And it's been dying quickly, so I'm going to have to take the battery out, plug it back up, and let it charge, and all of that mess. So I'm going to go ahead and make the video regarding updates on this plane crash. Apparently 9 people are dead in that plane crash. They were stating that it literally just dropped out of the sky. From what they were stating on the news, it just dropped right out of the sky, no warning. And it just dropped really, really hard. They said it was unlike anything that many people had ever seen. And surprisingly, there were no vehicles in the area. There was no traffic on that interstate, which is quite unusual for that time of day, they stated. The C-130 Hercules is like the ancient elephant of the modern Air Force. They said it's huge, strong, and put to almost endless uses. Since the 1950s, the planes have hauled massive cargo loads to war zones. They've been converted into gunships and bombers, and they've been packed with electronics to hunt for hurricanes and all kinds of uses. And like the old war elephants, when a C-130 falls, it goes down hard, they stated. In 2002, both wings ripped off of a tanker-modified Hercules as it doused wildfires in California, sending the fuselage spinning like a missile into the trees, killing 3 people. Well, on Wednesday, the Hercules airplane crashed onto a state highway in Georgia, killing all 9 people on board that plane and leaving witnesses on the ground hardly able to believe what they had seen. Like I stated in the previous video, this one woman, this individual she was at a business nearby. It was a mile and a half away, and she stated that she heard the boom and the explosion happen, and they actually felt the pressure and their business began shaking. Well, then they said the electricity started flickering on and off, so they had some power issues, and then everything was normal. But then she turned around and looked and said that you could see smoke rising, this dark black smoke rising in the distance. Now, with that being said, this is the rest of the news from this article. The plane, which in its long history has served as a weather reconnaissance craft and a rescue vehicle for stranded hurricane victims, took off at about 11:30 a.m. Wednesday from an airport in Savannah. On board, there were 9 Air National Guard members from the C-130's home base in Puerto Rico, bound for the state of Arizona. The purpose of the trip was unclear. Military officials first said that the plane was on a training mission, and then that it was due to be decommissioned in Arizona, and then that the details after that were unknown. In any case, so I guess apparently the story changed from the military officials, so I don't really know no one really knows the detailed information on this. But in any case, the plane had barely cleared the runway at Savannah/Hilton Head International Airport before something went catastrophically wrong. Michael Garrett told WXIA TV News that he had just eaten lunch at a Circle K near the airport and was walking back to his big rig truck chatting with a friend on the phone when he looked up and saw what looked to him like a big gray army plane. It was gliding slowly to the side. He told the station that I'm looking at it, staring at it, telling my friend, this plane looks kind of strange. It slowly then glided to the left and just went all the way upside down. All the way upside down, he repeated, twice. I was telling everyone in the parking lot, look, a plane is falling, a plane is falling. A few miles south of the airport, CNN reported Roger Best felt the ground rumble beneath his truck as the plane passed low overhead. Others, others would see the C-130 appear to make a hard left turn. It seemed to Best as if the pilot tried to veer away from the crowded North Savannah suburbs. So maybe he tried to veer away from a very populated area and wound up landing on the interstate. In which case, he thinks the pilot saved his life and many others. He barely made it over the tree line, Best said. The plane headed toward the normally very busy interstate of State Highway 21, intersection of State Highway 21 and Crossgate Road, where a county sheriff's spokeswoman stated she would later say that it was an absolute miracle, so to speak, this miracle, she called it, prevented it from striking any cars. Near that same intersection, Mark Jones looked up and saw the C-130 curving low over the trees toward the street. But I see them all the time, he said, so I didn't think anything of it. He told the Savannah Morning News that Jones looked down for a moment, and he said, and by that time he looked back up and the plane was on the ground. So it was just a very quick escalating situation when this plane began to go down. It was an immediate turn. It turned over and went straight down to the ground in a few seconds. A security camera at a truck yard several blocks away captured the plane's final descent. The Hercules glided toward the highway intersection, falling slowly at first. Then its wings, 132 feet from tip to tip, began to spin around at its axis like a weather vane. The plane's pitch became steeper and steeper until finally its nose pointed directly toward the ground. It disappeared from the camera's view behind a row of trees. And suddenly, 5 seconds later, the camera video showed a pillar of fire and black smoke rose from those same trees, spewing into the blue, cloudless sky. Power, phone, and internet service actually went out in the surrounding neighborhoods, so they lost electricity, internet, and phone service. The morning news reported that lights flickered and buildings shook across the northern suburbs of Savannah. From the Circle K parking lot, Garrett said he heard a sound that he'd never heard before, but he heard no sound, but seen flames. Sorry, I don't know where I was seeing that at, but he heard no sound, but he seen flames on the horizon and hoped that no one had been hurt when he saw them. At a wrecking yard down the street from the crash site, Denver Goodwin told CNN News that the ground shook like a bomb and that people around him then began to panic. Directly in front of the crash site, in the middle of the state highway, the driver held his phone up to his windshield and made a video of the crash. An AC-30 literally just dropped out of the sky and blew up on the street. He saw as cross-street traffic passed in front of the dark smoke. Debris scattered hundreds of feet from the point of impact, county spokesperson told the Morning News. Jet fuel started small fires along the side of the road that the firefighters later smothered in a white sea of foam. As the smoke cleared and the bodies were counted, officials cleared witnesses from the crash site area. They blockaded the highway, warning that it was likely to stay closed for weeks as the military investigates what actually went wrong. In aerial photos, only the tail of the Hercules appears intact. A U.S. flag symbol clearly is visible at the tip. The tail lies exactly at the middle of the highway, aligned almost perfectly with the lane lines, as if it had landed there and the rest of the plane had simply just melted away. So that's the latest news on this plane crash in Georgia. So I thank you for watching, and that's all for now. I hope to speak with you all again very soon. That's the latest news regarding this plane crash.